Hi, I'm Craig Newman, and welcome to our presentation on Project USA. In this presentation, we'll be reviewing what Project USA is and how it relates to newborn screening. Not only are patient addresses a critical part of patient identification and deduplication, but having accurate and usable addresses for newborns and their families is vital to providing care and services to affected individuals. In collaboration with a number of standards development organizations, the Office of the National Coordinator for Health IT, or ONC, has launched Project USA to develop a unified specification for addresses in healthcare. As described by the ONC, their interest in this area was motivated by the need expressed by stakeholders for additional constraints and consistency around patient address formatting. The ONC goes on to say that Project USA is reflective of how subtle improvements in health IT can have a big impact when implemented at a national scale. The ONC's objective in compiling a unified standard for patient addresses is twofold: to facilitate adoption and alignment across healthcare for the representation of patient addresses, and to enhance the performance of patient matching algorithms through improved address quality. To develop a unified specification for addresses, the ONC is working with HL7, the National Council for Prescription Drug Programs, or NCPDP, X12, and other members of the Health Standards Collaborative. This project aims to standardize both the format and content of addresses in healthcare. A standardized format for addresses will describe how the various elements in a patient's address are displayed in the patient record, and standardized content will ensure that the address elements are composed in a similar fashion, facilitating the exchange and use of address information. In July 2021, a draft technical specification was released for public comment. This document has a broad intended audience including health IT developers, federal and state agencies, scientists, researchers, and other stakeholders. The scope of this first version includes both current and historical addresses, domestic and military addresses, addresses in the 50 states and territories, and both mailing and physical addresses. The document also includes guidance for when some or all of the address is unknown. Concepts out of scope for this initial release include other types of addresses, or addresses representing locations associated with healthcare providers, facilities, or other entities, and generally speaking, international addresses, with the exception of some limited guidance for Canadian addresses. As mentioned earlier, one of the primary goals of the project is to identify the discrete components of an address. Here we see a list of proposed elements including the primary address number, pre-directional, street name, street suffix, post-directional, city, state, and zip. The document provides many examples of how addresses can be parsed into these constituent components. In addition to providing guidance on the basic address elements, the initial document also describes many other details associated with capturing, displaying, and using addresses. As well, Project USA is concerned with the metadata about the address. This includes information about the source of the data, the date range the address is in use, address types and uses, and housing stability. Finally, the project also standardizes some of the terminology associated with addresses, including the preferred suffix to use, state abbreviations, geographic directions, and military states. Existing HL7 standards, including version 2 and FHIR, have data types that are used to convey addresses. In V2, the XAD and SAD data types are used in this capacity. XAD already includes many of the same data elements as Project USA defines, albeit not always at the same level of granularity. XAD also includes components for some of the metadata that is included in the draft recommendations. As Project USA evolves, it will be important to map the data elements and terminology defined by the project to existing interoperability standards such as V2 and FHIR to ensure that as data is shared between systems, the structured data elements remain identifiable. Finally, Project USA isn't the only work being done in the field of addresses. The public health immunization community has been exploring the use of address cleansing in geocoding services to enhance their programs. We strongly encourage you to talk to your colleagues in the immunization program in your jurisdiction about their use of these types of resources, or visit the resource repository at the American Immunization Registry Association, or ARA, and search for address to find a number of documents and resources related to address cleansing. We hope that this presentation has helped you better understand Project USA and how it relates to public health interoperability. Keep in mind that while patient addresses are not always at the top of your interoperability priority list, they are an important part of patient matching and deduplication, and it warrants keeping an eye on how your data submitters are capturing and formatting them. Thank you for joining us, and please reach out to us if you have any questions, and please visit our website for more training opportunities.